Hello, everybody. As promised, Karneisha Stewart, CEO of PuckerUp Lemonade, is still here. We are continuing our episode from last time when Karneisha was basically giving us a rundown of what it took her the first 10 years, right? The first 10 years of running
Yes.
PuckerUp.
We got into the brick and mortar at year 8.
Year 8. Okay, so the first 7 years of running PuckerUp, which led her to pretty much doing a handshake deal on a brick and mortar location and stepping out on faith to even actually go and see the space. And basically, when the timing is right, the timing is right. And
You made that sound so boss. A handshake deal.
It's a handshake deal, that's exactly what it was. Boss. That's exactly what it was. And then it was now I gotta go back. It was a handshake deal and you got it done, and here you are today. So with all the success, people see the success. People see Karneisha, Miss PuckerUp, and they're like, ooh, it must be nice. She's making this lemonade and she has this thriving business. But sometimes what people don't see is, the tears and the stress and the anxiety in the background because of the mistakes that you made and trying to clean it up. So we want to basically give people, that introduction to that part of the business so they could learn from, your mistakes, learn what to do and what not to do. So let's just say in the first year or so of your business, what would you say the 2 to 3 barriers were that you faced in opening that brick and mortar location or in starting the business, period?
Those first 3 would have been lack of capital, lack of knowledge and education regarding the industry, and probably not at that point securing mentorship.
So you had to do this all on your own. So you had was it your grandfather's recipe or
my dad's recipe?
Your dad's recipe. So you took your dad's recipe and you created something from it. So I would assume that was not, you needed a business mentor to teach you how to run the business aspect of it.
Yeah, I needed a business mentor and then just a life mentor at that point, because here I am working 60 hours a week, in my nursing career, left that and transitioned out of that. That was like within that first year or so. Because I think I worked until about 2013. So this was by no means a full-time business. This was just kind of, hobby, transitioning from getting paid, from hobby to getting paid with your passion.
So what would you have done different? So you said the lack of capital. What would you have done differently there? What would you have done differently with the mentorship? And then the third one you mentioned was
training, industry related training. I had never worked in food service before, but my husband did. So that's why we're great at balancing each other out, what I do well and what he may be challenged with. He does well and I'm challenged with. So we're a great balance and a great team. So I would say, had I had a business mentor, I would have established the business then, therefore being able to establish vendor accounts that would possibly give me a net 30 on packaging, supplies, etc. So that capital wasn't a big of a huge issue as it was at that time. So those are things that I had to seek out and research and become educated myself. And then, reaching out to people that would give me tidbits and knowledge here and knowledge there. So that was one of the big things and then personally, my personal credit was shattered. So I dealt with at that time, because I don't have an established business, right? So everything is relying upon my personal credit, which was non-existent. So that was a huge barrier for me. So now in hindsight, I would have put more energy into that early on. Also, structuring the business so the business could have its own credit established in XYZ. So those are things that I did late in the game. Now my credit is beyond great. Business credit is beyond great. Last week we got our first business Amex card. I'm like, we're winning. you know,
Do
that's
your
just
little
like,
dance, girl. Do your little
yeah,
dance.
that was like so not major to certain people, but for us, it shows that you started something, you nurtured it, you watered it, and now it's given what it
Man,
needs
how
to
did you
give.
feel when you got that congratulations?
I was like, I've been paying the bills. I monitor my nav, make sure my business is I'm doing it. And
Mhm.
because when you come from that solopreneur, entrepreneur mentality, a lot of these things, you are the bookkeeper, accountant, accounts payable, accounts receivable, you're the one calling, hey, can you pay that invoice? You're wearing so many hats.
Yes, and it is so much to do, and it's like they say it all the time. It's so much to do and so little time. Everybody got 24 hours a day. It's what you do with it, and from one solopreneur to another, it's just like you got this whole checklist of stuff you got to do, and then you like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then you think of all the stuff you got to do tomorrow, and you like, I can't put it off. So it's work involved. It's
In the
it's a
middle of
hustle.
that, in between both of those, is balance and the self-care. And that's not something that I really even started thinking about until late in the game.
Hmm.
So also, I think on an annual basis, sometimes I think big in everything that I do. So I don't take a day by day approach as much as I'm looking at projections for the quarter, for the
Hmm.
year, or getting my calendar together. And so what I suffered from as an entrepreneur was just not putting me and us, family, loved ones on my calendar.
Yeah, who else said that they now I'm going to reality TV. Um the Brat's wife, she said that she struggles with that still. Even today, she struggles with having a work-life balance. And I could see completely how that could happen. How you could just get, so caught up in work that you forget. And sometimes you have to have people close to you remind you, like, hey, like, don't forget about me, or take a break. And
Yeah.
self-care moments is
It's
definitely all
essential.
important.
It's
It.
essential. And it makes you more productive. So it's a good thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's a good thing.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get to the second question I have for you, but with it, how are you able to tie in your self care with running your business? What did you decide that you were going to do in order to take care of yourself?
Number one, I started putting myself on my calendar.
That's
My calendar was just business, 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 pucker up, pucker up, pucker up, this, that, and the other. And I wasn't really balancing it. And it's not always going to be 50-50. It might be, but you got to figure out how to do that.
mm,
And so that's really a shift in mentality before you even start penciling in yourself. It's really a mindset shift to say, hey, I have to be here. I need to be present,
mhm.
and present doesn't always allow you to be at every single event, but hey, this is near and dear to me, I need to make it a point to be here and not schedule here. But then too, when you build a team, then you don't always have to be there. Or we have situations where we have this event going on simultaneously, the store is open, I'm like, yes, but that's only because of talent.
Yes, absolutely.
That's only because of talent of, I don't call our labor. It's they're talented individuals that contribute to our company and our brand and ultimately to our bottom line.
Yeah.
So because of that, that says, okay, I don't have to be there. And it's going to run fine because they know the drill, they've been trained, they understand the philosophy that is pucker up. They're like, well, a customer, da 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 da. Well, what would Karneisha do? My whole thing is the customer is not always right. but we make it
I like that. You make
right.
it right. You
We
just
make it right, and we're trying to keep a customer. So if that is a cup of lemonade, we'll absorb that. That's not a
yes.
problem.
Which that actually is a way to segue into the second question that I have for you, which was how were you able to maintain and grow throughout the business process and growing your business? Would you say that taking time off to have those self-care moments were essential to your mental health?
Um, it became essential because what happened was in growing the business, I hadn't had a vacation. I wasn't taking a salary. Like literally, this is I just want to keep the doors open. So when the business really started picking up, and then it was just like, okay, things are okay now. And then also you have talent here, so you can walk away and go take a week vacation. And the business is going to be fine. They know what to do. You're not getting calls and emails. You've just disconnected. You've unplugged. And I think for me, what's becoming more apparent for me in my life right now is that the self-care is really mental focused for me. Because when you don't care for yourself, when you don't care for your mental health, you suffer. And this can be with our number one threat to our mental health is stress. Number one. Number one for Black women of color.
That's facts.
Facts. So stress, which in essence creates anxiety,
Facts again.
which will in essence create depression. So I find days where it's okay to not be productive. It's okay to care for yourself, to rest, to hydrate, to not take calls. I love having my phone on do not disturb now. I just, it's so for me personally, no social media alerts, period.
At all? You took them
No,
all off?
I don't, I'll see it when I see it. I'm
Look,
a
and
log in. I'm a
I'm
log in 50 times a day anyway. So when I log in, I'm gonna see. When I
look,
open up my app, I'm gonna see.
I'm so corny. I have my all my alerts for I shouldn't call it corny. I'm gonna call it professional. I have all my alerts on for LinkedIn and I only have a couple alerts on for my Instagram and Facebook, but I hear you. I'll be like, ooh, what they
Because,
say
but
on
you know why? You know why?
why?
Because you make money in LinkedIn.
That's accurate. I spend a lot of time on, that's really where I get a lot of my I was able to nurture a lot of my professional relationships off of LinkedIn.
I need to talk to you about that. I need to be more active in LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Um, and not just be an observer. I need to be more active on YouTube. But yeah, that's what's been helping me too, just knowing that it's okay to just check out. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I
It's
think I'm sorry, I'm waving the lights. Think I checked out this room. What we just gonna
oh
do the rest of the interview in the dark. This is raw footage, you guys. I'm not
yeah.
cutting the camera.
Yeah,
It's
so
raw.
it's okay to check out, and it's most definitely important to guard your mental health, your mental state of mind. Um, be honest with yourself about the things that are causing you and creating anxiety, stress, and other issues in your life. Just
Yes, and personally, honestly, I cannot stress it enough, and I tell people this all the time that I am not shy about saying that I go to therapy. Everything, different things work for different people. Some, and then in outside in real life, I'm not a talker, but once I get to my therapist's office, it's just like you only giving me an hour because I got so much to say. But it's just like having that mental health component or whatever it is for me is actually therapy and being able to talk it out, but for everybody having something to just what's the word, to just relax your brain so you can actually progress is very important, especially when it comes to African American and the Black community, and us telling people that therapy and mental health and trying to cater to your mental health is for the weak, when it's not. It's just like you got to, take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, there's consequences to that. So yes, I'm a 100% advocate for mental health. I'm an advocate for therapy, and I'm definitely an advocate for taking care of yourself, because if you don't do it, who's going to take care of you like you do?
Yeah, in the past couple of years, therapy as well as a workout regimen was transformative for me. My issue is the consistency.
I caught that was.
Was the consistency, but like for me, the workout was physically demanding and made me feel great and did, great for my physicality, but it did amazing things for my mental.
Hmm.
And when I was able to connect with that, I think that connection was connecting that because I connected to self. And that 3 times a week, I was just focused on me. And it's okay to focus on me, because when you're trying to grow a business and grow a brand and get in with this person and connect with this person, it's like it's just tunnel vision. It's tunnel vision, literally. So yeah, very, very, very much needed. I have a friend that's starting a mental health service for entrepreneurs specifically. She's a therapist.
I might
And
want
I
to
know,
talk to her. Where is
yeah,
she located?
yeah, she's in the LA area,
Is
and
she?
yeah, she's in the LA area, and
Tell
I'm
her to
glad.
be a new guest, the next guest on Powerhouse, so we could talk to her about the importance of mental health.
Oh, that would be great. I'll reach out to her, but yeah, that I'm glad she even saw the need.
Hmm.
That she even saw the need. You know, I tell my friend all the time, I'm like, look, as an entrepreneur, we don't always we shoulder the business, right? And sometimes it's not as lucrative for us per se, right? And we're not in control of a lot of things because we have to control a lot of things, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. But I said one thing that we can control is our time. So we have to make time to do us, to be ourselves outside of our businesses. Otherwise, we might as well just contribute amazingly to Fortune 500 companies and global brands and not have to deal with all the BS of being an entrepreneur.
The facts.
Like if you're not going to pay yourself with your time,
Hmm.
you're going to suffer immensely. It's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. You're giving yourself an expiration date, and you might as well just go contribute to another firm.
Hmm. In which I like how this conversation is really like leading into the next question, because the next question I actually did have for you was, what was the best advice you could give for new entrepreneurs? And we kind of just summed all that up as far as like mental health, exercise, putting yourself first, and feel free to expound on that, and let us know from your perspective, what do you feel is best.
Yeah, I would say definitely connect, identify people that can mentor you. It may not necessarily be industry specific, and understand that you have to build your tribe. So it may not be one mentor. You might have mentors. You may have one that's business specific. You may have a mentor that's product specific, overall, or somebody just in a community that you love and respect and can look toward for advice in real world situations. Also really structuring that business early, getting your books in order, find out what works best for you in operating your business. So for true story, prior, so the pandemic happened in 20 and the social unrest as well happened in 20. And then afterwards, there was a deluge of money that came in federally, locally, as well as from a lot of nonprofits that were supporting Black-owned business, Black women-owned business specifically. And in order to gain access to that money, your business needed to be structured. Well, PuckerUp wasn't officially structured as a limited liability company until late December of 2019. Then everything happened in 2020. But for some reason in 2019, I was like, okay, we got this brick and mortar now. We have a lot of liability on us. I was at a point as an entrepreneur that I couldn't even afford insurance.
Wow.
I was there. Where I couldn't afford insurance. Now I'm insured.
No questions asked,
Yeah,
insured.
exactly. So, but in structuring that business, that allowed me, because when a nonprofit is going to pour into your business, the first thing they need from you is a W-9, which for your business, which requires you to have your EIN. They need to follow the money. So having that structured, being able to produce your documents, having your stuff, they call you, they email you, we need XYZ, boom, 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 here it is. Here's the docs, there you go. And just, really being truthful with you and finding out where the weaknesses are in your processing, development, or whatever, and I'm an outsourcing person. I'm not going to lie to you. Mm-hmm. Some people, I'll do it myself. That doesn't work for me. It works phenomenally well for a lot of people. It just doesn't work for me, because that just allows me to take this off of my plate, put it on somebody else's plate, identify what it is I want the final product to be, or the final resolution to be, and let them handle it. Because of course it's all about talent, and Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither was Ford, Sears, Walmart.
You said Sears. Some people on this call not gonna know what Sears is. Mervin's.
Sears and Roebucks. Yeah. So, and then just try to ask questions, and because there's not always a learning curve. Ask questions, figure out like, what is it gonna take you to. Case in point, when we first started making lemonade, we were making like a gallon batch at a time. We were picking our own lemons. Like, I used to have spider webs, dirt, everything stuck all in my hands, because the lemon trees have thorns. Some varieties have thorns. And then it was like, this is not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. And I was picking lemons from trees. I'm driving down the street. Oh, there's a lemon tree. Let me go knock on the door, get their lemons. Let me go check out these lemons. Are they
Did you really?
I did. That is my story. I stand by it. So then we were able to take that 1 gallon recipe and up it to a 5 gallon recipe. Now our basic batch is 15 gallons at a time. And that's what's required to scale, to do bigger and better. And you have to go back over your processes and like, dang, we've been doing this backwards we've been doing this backwards. So really just kind of fine tuning, and like I said, having those people that you can talk shop with, and to just really develop. PuckerUp is not where you start, is not where you end.
And I was actually about to ask you too, as we exit this episode, what is next for PuckerUp? Where are you headed?
So very soon, again, very soon.
Very soon and very soon.
Yes, we're launching our PuckerUp Lemonade truck, which is actually a trailer. The PuckerUp Lemonade truck will be parked a few days a week at our store location. And then we will be providing catering services and fundraising services, catering for corporate, private events, as such. festivals, and then the fundraising for local youth, nonprofit sports teams, high schools. We're really excited about that. It's like something that really is lucrative and that can be tapped into.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as so that gives us 2 locations. That gives us a mobile location and then our brick and mortar. And then ultimately, I discussed with you before, I want to be near the water. So there's a new development coming to Southern California, and I really feel like we can do that.
That's it.
So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, you see where I work at, so
Yes, Keller Williams Pacific Estates.
we're gonna try to get something taken care of for
Yes,
you.
definitely, definitely.
All right, so in conclusion, Karneisha came through and just dropped bars, a lot of bars. I hope a lot of you guys took notes. A lot of you guys who own restaurants, who are owning, juice, if you have, drinks stores or food locations, or if you're operating at home, feel free to look at this video, take notes, reach out to Karneisha or myself. You know where to find her employees. I went there and she wasn't there, so when you don't have to be there to make money, it's a good thing. So all right, so that is everything that we have for today on Powerhouse U. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us again, and y'all take care. Bye.
Bye.